All right, here's some head trash for you. This goes back, many years, but kind of the head trash is if you want to be successful in business, then you have to go to college, or at least college, maybe graduate school too. And I think that was probably pretty true. It was kind of a differentiator for a number of years for who was going to become successful and who wasn't. And it's still true to some degree, right? I mean, the CEOs of really big Fortune 500 companies around the world are still usually graduates of, the best business schools around, Harvard, Stanford, places like that. So it's still true to some degree. But in general, I think people that were just going to college just to check it off the list and get some kind of, I'd say, random degree in political science or history or English, or I got political science myself. That didn't really lead me anywhere. I wasn't preparing for something. So I feel like now at least we ought to have the conversation with each other when folks are considering college or no college, that it's an option. It's not a have to anymore. For example, if I was going to hire someone to come work for me, and let's just say my company, we make software for warehousing. So our software helps manage inventory and stuff like that for big warehouses. And if someone came to me and said, Mr. Sterling, I'd like to come work for you. I think I'd be a good addition to your company. And I'd say, why? And they'd say, well, I went to Wake Forest University. It's one of the finest universities in the Southeast, which it is. So what'd you major in? I majored in English. Well, that's great. Probably help you be a good writer and communicator, so I get that. But I'm not sure it's a direct match to what I'm looking for. Have you ever worked in a warehouse? No. Have you ever done any kind of inventory management? No. Have you ever worked in logistics? No. So obviously this person might be talented, but they have no direct experience with what I'm looking for. Let's take another person who did not go to Wake Forest or any other, college. And so for that 4 years instead of college, what they did was they worked in a warehouse, right? They worked at a trucking company. They worked in a warehouse like Amazon, loading and unloading stuff in the warehouse. So in education-wise, besides that on-the-job education, they did internet work and they learned, accounting basics, business basics, sales basics. And so they kind of have these things that they've checked off the list that they understand about business from education, but they also have the practical experience. So that same person comes to me the next week and they say, Mr. Sterling, I did not go to college. I decided I wanted to actually go to work, or I needed to go to work immediately. I've always loved logistics, and so I decided to work in a couple of different areas before I went and got my first big job. I figured by the time I'm 21, I should probably do that. And I said, well, where'd you work? And they said, well, I worked in an Amazon warehouse. I unloaded stuff. I ran a forklift. I managed a truck yard. I actually drove a truck some when I was working there. So I understand logistics, I understand kind of how things move around the world, I understand what happens once they're inside of a warehouse. I even ran the software, that we use to decide, what to go pick and what to go ship, in the warehouse. So think about it for a second. If you were me, and both these people are nice, presentable young folks, they're both 21 years old. And one has done all this work, in logistics in the warehouse. They've gotten some education about business through the internet courses and things like that. And the other one simply went to a good school and got a liberal arts degree. Which one are you going to pick? It's pretty easy, isn't it? I mean, it's very easy which one you're going to pick. You're always going to pick the one who's got the experience, the one who's been making money, the one that's got practical education online versus the one who got a nice liberal arts degree. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going to Wake Forest and getting a nice liberal arts degree. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not, it's almost kind of wasted time for me in terms of business. It's like now you're starting. Now you're getting your first job. Now you're starting to learn. That's fine. That's what most people have done for years, including me. What this other person did was they started 4 years early, and they got a huge head start. And they also kind of cemented that they love logistics, so they kind of know exactly where they want to be. So, the head trash of we have to go to college to be successful is no longer true. People are it's much easier now to be comfortable hiring people without a college degree, without an MBA, if they found other ways to get that kind of education, whether it's on the job or online. So if you're thinking about it, or if you're advising someone who's thinking about whether or not to go to college, just know that there's other options, and you should really think through the pros and cons of both of them based on, whoever we're talking about. Every case is going to be a little bit different. So I know I've had 3 children, and I offered all of them a no college plan, that we'll do something different than college for 4 years. And one of them kind of took me up on it. She said she wanted college and a John plan. So she had her trip around the world, and she went to a nice college, but she's smarter than me. Anyway, if you're thinking about college or no college, just keep in mind there's a couple of different ways to skin the cat, and it's very different today than it was 20 years ago. All right, today's head trash, we're going to talk a little bit about college or no college. All right? Now, 20 years ago, everybody had to go to college. Now, I mean everybody, almost everybody. But for the most part, if you wanted to kind of move up in business or get hired by a good company, you got a college degree. And if you want to be a CEO one day, you got an MBA. And the bigger, better the school, the better it was for you. So what is it like today? That's our old head trash, is you got to get a college degree. What is it like today? Well, it's certainly different, all right? I don't think there's one right answer for every kid coming out of high school, but it should be examined as to what they want to do. So let's take some examples. Let's say a kid comes out of high school and they kind of know what they like, right? That's one of my big things, if they can figure out what they like. So some kid comes out and goes, I want to be in the fitness business. I love physical fitness. I loved all my sports. I love CrossFit training. I want to be in the fitness business. And I'm kind of on an arc to do that. I'm very physically fit. I compete. I've got a job at a great gym already. I'll probably be running a gym within a year if I stick with it. And, I'd say within 10 years, I'll know enough about running a gym that I can, start my own, buy my own gym, and, maybe do a couple of them one day. But I mean, that's really all I want to do. I want to stick to this business of helping people get and stay fit and help their self-confidence and all that stuff. So that kid, if they just stop everything and go off to college, that doesn't really specifically help them with that goal, it's kind of a waste, right? For me, it's kind of like saying, but I'm going to go on a quick vacation. I'm going to go on a quick vacation from this plan. I'll be right back. 4 years later, maybe 5, all right? It's that's what it is. Now, people say, well, he's growing up, whatever. Well, listen, you're going to grow up wherever you are. If you're working in a gym, you're going to be growing up. If you're, doing an upside down keg stand, you're going to be growing up. I mean, who knows what you're going to be doing? But you don't have to go to college. That kid does not have to go to college to be successful. I would say that kid, in addition to pushing his fitness goals, should take some select classes, either in person or via the internet, to learn things like basic accounting, salesmanship, marketing, some of the basics you need to run a business. You need to get that somehow. And you don't want to get that kind of training on the job because it's going to cost you money. So I think people that know what they're going to do can stick right to it out of high school, supplement their education with online learning, and just take those 4 years to push toward their goal versus taking that vacation. I do think that person if there was some specific major in some specific school that was really, really good at what they did, could go to it, whether it's a 1-year program, a 2-year program, a 4-year program, but some specific program that helped them with something, real specific. And you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get to go have some fun, be on campus for a while, but you'd be specifically looking or learning about what you liked. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine was a writer, and he was homeschooled. He graduated way early, really super smart, and all he wanted to do was write. He wanted to write books, and he wanted to help other people write books. So he wanted to get a degree in ghostwriting, to be a professional ghostwriter. And where would he go for that school? Well, there's one school that specializes or has a program for ghostwriters, and it's in San Diego. And so this friend of mine went to San Diego and got this degree, and while they're there, they're doing all these projects. They're doing practice ghostwriting for other people. He's writing his own books on the side. So, while he's there, he's not goofing around. He's probably doing some goofing around, but he's really working towards this goal with very good teachers and other people. And so I'm not saying you should never go to college, but if you're going to go and you have this thing you want to do, go to the place where they're doing the very best place you can go that's doing what you want, where you can learn. It doesn't matter where it is. Go to it. That's where you want to be. And then the last example I'll give you is a youngster who is just not sure yet. They're not sure what they want to do. They can't really narrow it down, or maybe they do want to do, but their college is going to help them, like go to law school or something like that, or med school, or there's a college they have to go to get to that next thing they want. I get that, but if they're not sure what they want to do other than that course, then what they need to do is just go and figure it out at a college, right? Go somewhere and make that their goal, is to learn the basic stuff you can learn at college, enjoy yourself, but start doing some internships and some programs to try to figure out, what is this thing I want to do? What would I, if I have to decide, what do I want to do with my life? And the sooner you can figure that out, the better. It doesn't mean you're going to figure it out this afternoon, but the sooner you can figure out kind of what your thing is, what you really want to make it to be, then the sooner you're going to be like extremely happy and kind of know what to do every day. You're going to know where you want to work, what you want to work on, what you want to read, what information you want to get. So by all means, understand that the old way was everyone goes to college, or, that's not good. And the new way is there's lots of different choices, and not going to college doesn't mean that you're not getting an education. So when you're helping youngsters, or if you're thinking about it for yourself, just know there's a lot of options out there. Good luck to you.